Hey guys, we've got a 15-10 game on the board against OK Chess Player 48, who comes from Singapore, and they've started with d4. So what are we going to do with that? I'm going to play a King's Indian setup. Should really play the knight out first, I think, to prevent this move. Already slightly inaccurate, but hey. Okay, so we've got a London by the look of things. So I'm going to go ahead with this. I'll move the knight out. Yeah, so I'm expecting these pawns to come up. That's it. Right, London time we are. Okay. Now, c5 I think is going to be a move at some point. Yep, there we go, full on London stuff. Okay. So you see with this hyper-modern kind of King's Indian defence thing, we haven't challenged the centre yet at this point. So we're not going to have the face-off of bishops here. What are we going to do? So we've got 3 pieces on that square. So e5 now is completely out of the question. I could play d6, centralise my rook, bring a knight out, and then if I play that, I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces looking at that square. So that would be 3 attackers, 3 defenders, probably an equal trade, if white initiates all of that. So let's say, okay, can play my bishop out, pin this knight now. We have same side castling. I was tempted to fianchetto that bishop and have it staring down here. That's kind of cool. I think bishop on here. Time is good. Ah, c4 now. They're probably thinking of putting the knight behind the pawns there. Okay, I'm going to stick my bishop here. So now if this queen moves away from the defence of this knight, the only defender is going to be the g pawn. And at that point I would snatch the knight and break up white's position somewhat. Okay, let's centralise the rook. Maybe knight first. Knight to here now. That looks solid. It's all about building the pressure, this kind of approach. Oh. It blocked off my bishop. That's okay, because we can bust through. I could play c6 now even, if I wanted to. Let's get the rooks ready first. Right? Complete development, then pawn breaks. Oh, so he's now advanced his pyramid that was on the dark squares, has now come forward onto these light squares. You cheeky bugger. Okay, so let's think. That's defended twice by bishop and knight. That bishop's actually not defended at all. So if e5 now, what do we get? En passant, I can capture with a rook. Takes, takes, rook takes, then I can slide my other rook behind it. Got ideas there. Otherwise, the bishop's simply going to have to retreat. I think that looks okay. Removes the head of this vanguard pawn, whatever it's called, structure. I can also recapture with a pawn. Okay, so he's okay, retreated. That now opens up this nice diagonal for my bishop, so I think my bishop is probably going to end up there. And there's also a nice little outpost here for my knight, staring at this bishop. But this now bishop is the bad bishop. This is the good bishop. However, we do have quite a locked kind of structure in the middle of the board. I've already got the D&E files already locked, which makes things worse for bishop. So I don't think I'd want to go trading, especially my knight, for that bad light squared bishop right now. Okay, so what have we got? Let's do it with some goldfish. Obviously that pawn's defended well. That's actually undefended. And everything else is cool. Bishop's technically undefended also. Okay, so undefended pieces, a pawn there. Do I want to think about this pawn break now? If takes en passant, I recapture with the bishop, and that has broken up the centre. But if he doesn't take, then we've got a very locked up centre of the board. So we'll be needing to look for other pawn breaks and possibly identifying this guy, Black Freddy. Oh, Black Freddy. Okay. Alright, so this knight is now attacking this pawn here, which is currently blocked. Its defense is blocked by my queen. So I think it's time to think about improving this knight if I can. However, where on earth is it going to go? It's only got 2 squares. And, alternative is queen here. Could drop my dark square bishop back to defend that, but there's not much point in that. I think my knight's going to have to go next to the king, you know. Now I don't mind trading off my light square bishop for white's knight at all. That's good for me because of all of this. Right, so it's all a case of reading the board. Okay, queen lifts. I could kick the knight back, get some space. That knight's now, if it goes back there, it's a long way from causing me any problems with my king. My king is over here. You want to keep your enemy's knights away from your king. You want your knights to start. So ideas now maybe, like this knight come around here. Not right now. There's quite a barrage, dark square barrage lined up. Okay. So the situation is this bishop is not in a happy place right now. I think this bishop wants to come around like there. I think that's a good move now. All right. So we're kind of looking at the middle game now. Yeah, I haven't connected my rooks. I've just unconnected them further by that bishop move, but the bishop needs to improve. You know, so that looks good. That's fine by me. I don't mind that one bit. You want to take my knight, bishop simply recaptures. Okay, let's return the favour. Also got queen captures actually as well, that might be preferable. Takes, and then queen takes even. Could be good. My opponent's playing a solid game so far. Okay. So defended the knight. Now the question is, which is the better piece? Do I want to trade that off for that? Or do I want to defend the pawn? Or do I want to attack this bishop and put the question to the bishop? This bit of the board seems to be like the action area you see right now. All the queen side is kind of dead. Could kick the bishop, see what its intentions are. I would expect the bishop to trade, but then I've got queen captures, which could be interesting. Also, moving this pawn would give my knight a route into the game. So I think this looks... No, it doesn't. Because we've got bishop takes, and if bishop takes, then I've got a queen in my face. We don't want that. I think trading the bishop for the knight probably makes sense at this time. Don't like the fact that my knight's pinned on the queen though. Could lift the queen off the back rank just to d7. Takes away a square from this knight. Let's play that and see what my opponent's intentions are. If takes, I can recapture now with the bishop. Right, so one option is takes, 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 and then I get 2 pawns for a queen, but they are key pawns. Right? Not all pawns are worth 1 point. These are the pawns right in front of my opponent's king. So I was thinking about trading off my bishop for that knight, but I'm wondering whether actually those 2 pawns are better than that knight, worth more. Also notice that the knight is the only defender of this pawn. It'd be really nice to get rid of that guy. I could also allow captures and then retake with a knight, but no. Okay, let's do this. Let's spice things up a little bit. I'm expecting pawn takes and then queen takes. Okay, now queen takes. That knight's defended only by the bishop. That's defending that, that's defending that. Bishop's defending that. Doesn't take long just to figure out what's defended and not. So white is actually coordinated right now. But the issue now is the exposed king. So big threat from me now is knight g4. And I need to get rid of that piece. And then I've got a checkmate idea. So now actually h6 is an option, because that square is defended by bishop and queen. So if takes, 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 right? So now that would actually force the bishop away. Yeah. And I might have ideas of even a pawn storm with my own king's pawns, which is a risky venture, but if you think it's going to work, it could work. So now, okay, my opponent said nice sack. Thanks, I figured those 2 pawns were valuable. Yeah, that's the thing about reading the game, isn't it? You know, these pawns in the middle, this is the theme of the game, and you need to be able to read the board and say what is the story of what's on the board, what does the board tell you, yeah? And what it's telling me is it's not a good day to be a bishop, because bishops cannot get through this. So they're, you know, all they've got is like dancing around that. Knights, however, knights can jump in there. Knights can, you know, maneuver around. Lots of good squares. So I'm tempted to kind of kick this guy away. Maybe come after that pawn. That'd be great with a fork. Okay, so what's he thinking? East Indian game and London system is what we've got on the board, or what we had. I even have a check here that can't be blocked. Let's think that through. Check there. King has to come to one of these 2 squares. But I think putting pressure on this bishop now makes sense. I might also think about a pawn break with the f pawn, because I want to get my rooks into the game. See, these rooks are doing nothing. So I need more firepower if I'm going to checkmate this king. And obviously the knight coming into g4 is a no-brainer. So could we somehow use that in conjunction? Like queen here. Let's say king there. Queen back to here. King goes back. And then the knight comes in. And that's just not enough material yet. Wonder if I need to use my pawn somehow. My opponent's saying, I'll calculate this long. I'm thinking h6. Other ways to get a rook involved in the... Ooh, knight has moved away. But surely, how do you stop checkmate there? Has to capture with the bishop. So if I put knight in here, it's going to have takes, but then queen takes. I'm attacking both of those, but the queen's defending. So, don't really want to give up my knight just yet. Do we kick the bishop away? Bishop has to go to here. What does that change? Okay, let's think about this, okay? So pawn there, bishop must retreat there. Then if knight in, we still have bishop takes, queen takes. I've got two attackers on that, I suppose. Okay, let's try that. So I'm thinking bishop takes there, goes back there. If I bring my knight in now, oh, I don't have two attackers because my knight's gone. So you have to visualise here. So this is what I'm thinking. Bishop goes here, knight goes here, threatening mate. That's then forced, recaptures, and now my queen is looking at this pawn, but there's no more knight on there. So I don't win that. Now we could have bishop takes knight, in which case bishop takes, and then I can bring my other knight in. That knight here is also now definitely an idea. Okay, it's not a surprise. Queen's looking at this pawn, but it's defended right now. So I think that my bishop's bound to come to this square, to g5. But also my knight wants to come via that square as well, so move order, always critical. All right, now that's interesting. Knight, knight. There. Knight here. Rook across. That could be good. That could work. It's all about timing the attack, you see. Huh. Okay. Now if knight comes here, I've still got escape squares, that's fine. Go here and then attack the pin piece as well. Tactics. Got to know your tactics. Got to be fluent in tactics, guys. Queen there. H5 is attacking the pin piece. The bishop is an absolute pin because it's defending the king, so cannot move. So we'd have like pawn takes, and then I win the pawn, and then now look how dangerous this h-file looks with my rooks flying up. My knight can't go here right now because bishop would take it. Okay, that's all right. Takes task, no good. h5 maybe. See, there's no dark squared bishop right now, so to trouble my queen too much. I'm really not worried about this pawn. He doesn't want to give up that pawn. He'd be a fool to throw that pawn up the board. Like attacking with the pieces that are already busy defending. Don't know. This is the beauty of chess. When you move from playing move by move to playing a narrative of the game. Okay. Now, sure, doesn't that just blunder the bishop? Or has white got something deadly planned? No, I mean, the only piece I think that can really attack my queen is that, and then I can even move there. So surely, can't I just grab the bishop? That also gets out of my rook's way, so I mean, it doesn't put my knight in a great position, but I can't see. He says, "Oh wow, I'm dumb." Okay, well, I'm going to let him off for the sake of the game. I'll give you 1 life. Okay, there we go. So, attacking my other rook, are you? Alright, I'll just put it here. Now that bishop's looking deep in enemy territory. I can now put my knight there. Just to... But then if takes, then I'm lifting my rook off the back rank. I really want something to do with this idea and send Harry in. But what am I going to do with this awkward knight? That's the question. Don't really want to swap it for that bishop. This knight is pinned also, remember? Oh. Some counterplay. Alright, well, 1, 2, 3 moves to attack the pinned piece there. Are you really thinking queen there? If I push the pawn, this knight comes in. There he's got 4 pieces on it. Am I concerned if he captures that? Let's say Harry 1 takes. Harry 2, knight comes in. Harry 3, the knight's gone. Come on, Harry. We're going for it, mate. Counting is useful in chess. You're like really sitting and counting the timings of stuff, particularly like in the end game. So there we go. Yeah, queen's come in. But now what? The queen can't take that. Queen can't trouble these connected rooks. Got no ideas of bishop coming in attacking this pawn because the rooks just sweep up. The knight cannot move. And how can white defend this knight right now? I think Harry the Hatchet is going to come and do his stuff. So there, and then it's like an unstoppable mate as well, because his bishop is so far out. Remember, like we were saying, you know, this is the route. Okay, yeah. So now Harry again, and the knight will run away to here or here. Now I want to bring my knight in, and then I might just have a checkmate possibilities. In fact, yeah, the knight will still be guarding that square, just. This is now getting exciting. I'd like to go and move my queen, just to give this knight a forwards position and allow these guys to come in, because they are cold-blooded killers, those rooks. I was even thinking about maybe just sacking the knight in order to get ready for allow the rook in. Okay, so I mean it doesn't really matter whether this knight's going to go to one of those 2 squares, but it's still covering g2. That's the key thing. Then we could have a rook coming across, you see. Huh. Queen here even. It's 2 undefended pieces. That's defended by queenie. That's defending that. Obviously, everything else is kind of defended. I don't know why you're thinking so long about this one. Okay, but I mean, that could be an idea. Okay, so knight's moved back. Fair enough. Now the question, what to do with the queen. If I attack this, knight can go to there and defend the pawn, but that knight has just then become a lot worse. Then my knight can come around to here, and then ideas of that. Even the bishop can come out to play as well then. That'd be good. Right, so let's throw this in. Oh, I also notice now that rook is now undefended because the knight's just broken the rook sacred bond of rookness. So I think this looks fun. The knight's actually not attacked because it's defended by that pawn, but I am attacking that pawn. You see how far these knights are now away from my king. I want to get this guy involved in the game. I want to get this guy involved in the game. I want to get my bishop on here attacking this pawn. Yeah! In fact, that might be a good next move even. Bishop attacking that, threatening to capture the pawn. Can't put my queen on either of these two squares. So both knights are on dark squares, which means there's a lot of light squares being protected. Alright. Okay, I have a free pawn if I want. That then also attacks the knight, but is my queen still instrumental in that on that side of the board? I mean, she's on, you know, the second rank, so that could be all right. He says, "Oh no, my pawn." But I am not really obsessed with pawns right now. I think the queen's kind of okay there. He says it's cool if you take. Queen's kind of okay because I'm still attacking this pawn here, you know, from wherever I am on that 7th rank, second rank. But I'm just not sure if it's. I need to take that time. I want to do this plan. So now I'm going to drop my queen back here. Maybe prepare this bishop move now. He might now play knight to there. If he does, I think I'll just slide across. Then knight round and rook across, something like that. Okay, knight's defending these. Everything's defended. Queen's defending that and that. No one's defending that. And no one's actually defending that neither. So 2 undefended pieces on my opponent's side. I'm okay apart from Harry, but Harry's on a suicide mission anyway. Okay, that pawn I am going to take. I think that's a no-brainer. Comes a check. And now this pawn's also... Oh no, it's not. It's defended by the queen. There we go. Okay, so the king doesn't have to move. We've got pawn f3, which I think would be scary monsters. Okay. Now this idea would force the knight to capture. Do I have time for that? Or what about knight here? Is that better? Okay, I'm going to move the knight round because the knight's just in the way of these guys anyway. So I think there's more little benefits of that. Knight round to here. Got knight to there with check. Knight takes, queen takes. Rooks come flying in. See, what white's done on the queen side here is kind of threw the bishop in, then threw the queen in behind it, and then the attack petered out. And what that means for the game is that white's got two useful pieces in the most important piece not defending anything. Okay, so what's changed now? I think I just play here. Not many options. Okay, queen there. This is a 15-10, isn't it? So we do have an increment. Let me just check. Yeah, it's a 15-10 unrated. Okay. And okay, that's just like a, not really an attack. Okay, I'm going to drop my queen back here. Yeah, because there's no check from the knight, and now my knight's going to improve itself. My rooks are going to come round. In fact, knight to here, knight there with check, and there's the king has to move to the back rank. If the king takes this pawn, it's curtains. It'd be really bad news. Well, I mean, obviously it can't take it now because the queen's defending, but the king needs to use that pawn as a human shield, right? Because I can't ever take that pawn because it's my own pawn. Disconnected from the game? Hope not. We're hoping for a splendid finish. So knight to here, rook across to h8, knight to there, king has to retreat, pawn moves forwards, king's stuck in the corner. Come on then. Let's do this. I mean, it's quite an elaborate plan, but it's not, it's not beyond the realms, is it? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to involve all my pieces in the attack and look at what white's got going on. Got half his army over one side of the board, sitting down having a picnic, and then the defense of the king is down to, this small band of fighters. Can even have bishop in, sack the bishop off. Excuse me. Right, what are we going to do? Come on. My next moves are fairly self-explanatory. I think knight there. I think the knight is a better attacking piece right now. Get it out the way of the rooks. See how I've been keen to keep the pawns close to my king as well. That's my king's bodyguard. I'd much rather attack with pieces than with pawns, particularly those pawns. Okay, so white has decided that it's time to bring the queen into the defense, and that's a sensible move. So now we're expecting queen to come here with a defender on that pawn. I might then play my rook across in preparation for this check. So let's say queen comes here, rook comes across, knight comes there. No, it's because it's white's go. Queen comes here, and now my knight can't go there because the queen will take it. So this is what we're expecting. I need to disrupt, you see. That's what we have to do. My opponent's got a slightly dodgy connection there. You see, with Harry still on the board, I can't force my way through. For as long as that king stays there, Harry is stuck. So I have to do something. So that is definitely my best option. So should I play that next? See, if I play that next before I move my rook across, yeah, then the king can't go there and can't go there. So the king is forced to retreat, and then Harry goes forwards. Yeah. So you see, if queen here, and then that's almost like wasting too much time by putting the rook over there. Queen, then that comes in. Yeah. You see, so queen there, rook's there, queen in here, and I can't play that. But if queen there, knight in now, with check, there's nothing that can capture it on that square. So we have this, and the inevitable march of Harry can proceed. And actually we're also moving to a square where it's defended by the knight even. So the king's going to end up stuck in that corner. Then you have to figure out, okay, that's fine. Now this, yes. Even got a nice outpost there, but that's not really helping the campaign. Okay, so the king actually, I don't have to push Harry forward right now. I could come in with my bishop and attack this knight. That's a thought. Let's just bring this across. This is the pace of chess that I like. I played a bunch of 10-minute games yesterday because my brain wasn't working that well, and I won half of them, lost half of them. But it's almost a bit blitzy, you know, some of these 10 minutes. 10 minutes used to be in the blitz category on chess.com, then they changed it about a year ago. Okay, so if I go in there, it just means the king's stuck. I don't really have a good check, do I? So my opponent's down to 50 seconds now, so needs to start getting a shift on. Maybe that. We'll attack the knight directly there. Takes. Pawn takes. Okay, so attacking the knight makes sense. I can retreat to here onto that nice outpost. Puts the question to the queen. So now my opponent's on 36 seconds. Didn't see the increment jump. Okay, 42 seconds, right. Now we've got a proposed trade of queens. Big question. Big question. I'm going to takes, knight to here, threatening to come back to there with a fork on those two. The pressure's on my opponent right now. So what I'm thinking now is to finish off with my major pieces, double up my rooks. Okay, now he's missed the fork because time pressure. Huh? Okay, and now he's sacked a rook for that. Okay. Oh, okay. It's defended. That's an interesting move. Okay, so I'm currently up the exchange. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got 4. Okay, so right. Okay, I've got 7 pawns to his 4, so I'm up 3 pawns, and I've got a rook. He's got a knight and a bishop. So material is kind of equal. Okay, I really want to get a check in with that knight, do I? Are you still trying to win? Huh. But that undefends the rook. Boom. Unlucky. I've got 6 minutes on the clock, so I can take that time. Number one thing to get past 1,000 rating points in chess is just not rushing your moves. It's as simple as that. Look at everything. Be dispassionate. Be Mr. Spock. Okay, it's down to 15 seconds now, so I think we're about to end. But that's been an interesting game. Definitely interesting. Okay, he's resigned. Okay, well, good game. Yes. Enjoyed that. So there you go. Interesting game. Smith-Morra Gambit declined. Or was it? No, it wasn't. It was, yeah, that was our first game that I started today. My opponent resigned. Indian defense, King's Indian against the London system. Very interesting, and eventually leading up to a good attack. So I hope that's been very useful for you, working through that, the thought process of that. Shame I didn't actually get to complete my my killer attack in the end, but you know, the plan was there. So all very interesting. So just remains to thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe to Chess Bootcamp if you're trying to improve your chess, get to 1,000, 1,100 and beyond. This is the place to do it, and I will see you soon.